Welcome back to the Big Fella Podcast. My name is Noah Tanner. I'm your host. Today, we have a fun episode. We are talking about some of the best tools that are all free that helped me pull myself out of a low mental slump. Call it a depression, call it an anxiety. I don't have clinically diagnosed depression or anything like that, but I have felt through. I've gone through low periods in my life where I was struggling with my mental health, and here are some of the best practical, tangible tools. This is not just mindset stuff. These are real things, real apps, real stuff you can download, actions you can take, things you can do that will really aid with your anxiety or just kind of improving your overall mental health if you feel like you are in a slump. Okay. So for some context here, I'm 24 years old. Last year, I went through a very, very bad time in my personal life. I was dealing with a lot all at once that got thrown on me in a very, very quick time frame. It kind of threw my whole life upside down for a few months, and it added a lot of extra stress, and I held a lot of extra guilt. And I was really mad at myself for how long it took me to heal from that, which is really dumb. And I'm not going to feel like that anymore. And I know a lot of you will feel that way too. I know a lot of you struggle with mental health, depression, anxiety, just higher cortisol individuals, if you will. But anyway, I want to dive in today. I want to get straight to it. So let's begin. Number one, Opal. Opal is a free app. No, I am not sponsored by any of this, by the way. Opal is a free app that you can download on the App Store right now that is a screen time blocker. OPAL. Okay. Opal has helped me drastically reduce the amount of screen time and scrolling that I do in the mornings, right? I work from my phone. I work from Instagram. I work from TikTok. So I am constantly responding to comments, DMs, posting, editing, looking for inspiration, which just turns into doom scrolling for 30 minutes half the time. And I noticed a very, very poignant pattern in my life where I would have really bad anxiety days. All of them started when I was scrolling first thing in the morning. So I made it a rule for myself, and I used Opal to do it, where I blocked my phone from allowing me from using the app until noon. And then when noon hit, I had an 8-hour window to use it. And that's how I use it, like a productive, like using it how I wish to use it. I can choose what apps I want to block. I can choose how long I want to block them for. And you might be saying, Noah, the iPhone has a screen time limiter. Yes, but you can just hit ignore. What cool thing about Opal, if you try to ignore it, it makes you stay in the app on the screen and wait for a timer. And the more breaks you request, the longer that timer gets. So unless you want to sit there and look at your phone screen for 120 seconds without being able to leave the app, it does a really great job of redirecting your focus and realizing, you know what, I am just looking for a distraction right now. Let me put this away. And that is kind of what's been the coolest part of what Opal's been able to do for me. I've been recommending it to all of my clients who struggle with distraction and struggle with social media consumption. It's been a massive game changer, and I seriously couldn't recommend it enough. If they want to sponsor me on YouTube, go for it. I would love to do that. So everyone tag Opal in the comments because that would be sick. Number two, tibialis raises. We got an exercise here. So all my clients watching, you all know how epic the tib raises really are. The tibialis raise is a exercise that is building your tibialis, which is the primary muscle that runs along your tibia, which is the shin bone, and it strengthens the tibialis, so it allows you to have better knee health. It's basically bulletproofing your knees. And I do not coin that term. I actually learned tibialis raises through a friend, but he learned it through Knees Over Toes Guy on YouTube. If you have knee pain or you want more flexibility, or if you're a hopeless tall guy like me who still can't dunk, I would highly recommend looking at Knees Over Toes Guy on YouTube. He has phenomenal information. He has programs, he has products, and he has free courses on YouTube that are very high quality, that are proven to work. He is a trailblazer in the space for kind of preventative exercise and just improving and bulletproofing your lower joints so you do not have to live life in a hospital bed or in a nursing home or have a cane, right? This is exercise. Tibialis raise is a beautiful exercise that you can do at any age, whether it's preventing possible injuries in the future. I first started doing tibialis raises when I was 21, 22, recovering from an ACL injury. So it works for younger folks. It works for people that are middle age, and it works for people who are older who are trying to stay healthy. I've worked with older clients in person when I used to be an in-person trainer. I recommended tibialis raises to literally every age group before. It's the nice because all you need is the wall. It requires no equipment. It's honestly very easy. It's a very accessible exercise. And if any of you are looking for a link or for workouts to be programmed like that within a set workout regimen, click the link in the bio below, and we can talk a little bit more about it. But tibialis raises, just go on YouTube and search it up. Tibialis raise. It's fantastic. I seriously could not recommend it enough. And it has, as somebody who is a bigger dude who plays basketball every week, it's been revolutionary for my knees. Genuinely revolutionary. Just that one exercise. There are other great preventative exercises like hip flexor raises, single leg step downs. I mean, there's a lot in the wheelhouse of just preventative exercise because nobody wants an injury, right? So those are two big ones that helped me because I knew that lessening my distraction on social media and being able to consistently build back the health of my joints, and feeling reliable on a kind of good pair of knees. If you're a bigger dude, you know how shitty it is to have a bad pair of knees. And I don't want to have to deal with knee problems my whole life. So those have helped me tremendously. Number 3, slow mornings. Okay, slow mornings, specifically a walk or reading. Okay. Those are pretty basic advice. It gets tossed around quite a bit, but if it didn't work, I wouldn't be telling it to you. Okay. A lot of the cliche stuff works for a reason. And that's what I always like to say. So slow mornings, right? Rushing or panic, rushing is the work of the devil. There's some pretty eloquent quote that I could probably have looked up before I recorded this, but when you're rushing, when you're in a hurry, you are not ever going to get anything good out of that. You're never going to do good work. You're never going to have good conversation. You're never going to accomplish your goal faster. All you're doing is speeding up your nervous system and making you more anxious and making you feel more scarce. So being able to move a little bit slower. If you catch yourself kind of rushing around the office, slow down, relax. You can still get to your destination. You don't have to walk with quick haste. You don't need that. Walk at your own leisure, slow down, be more intentional with your movement. But more specifically, not starting your day with technology, starting your day with a walk, starting your day with a light chapter of reading, right? I've been reading, finishing up The Power of Now. I also just crushed the 4 Agreements. Phenomenal book, by the way. I've got it right here, actually. Whoa. 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I seriously could not recommend it enough. Very short book, 130 pages. And reading this in the mornings is a great way to start your day. Getting a workout in the mornings is a great way to start your day. Getting a walk in outside is a great way to start your day. But doing it in a slow manner is honestly one of the greatest things I did to recover my nervous system and just kind of remind me that I still get to choose how I start my mornings, right? And that's something that when you're going through a hard time mentally, you, in a lot of ways, feel like you lack control. And if you can feel as though you can control your mornings and set your day up the way you want to in a healthy, for your nervous system kind of way, there's going to be a lot of massive benefits, not only for your mental health, but also for your physical health, right? So that's a big one. Number 4, a basketball league. Now, if you know me by now, you know I love talking about basketball. Shout out the Pistons, by the way. 13 wins in a row. Somebody pinch me. Somebody pinch me. We lost 28 games straight 2 years ago, and now we've won 13 in a row. Oh, my God. But no, playing basketball has been massive for me. I've been a part of a basketball league for years now. I talk about it pretty frequently because it's a big part of my life. It's a community that I feel a part of. And It's the same guys mostly every week, and I'm going there tonight after I'm done recording, and I'm honestly incredibly excited. I am giddy because it's a community where I get to compete, where I get to just do what I love for 2 hours. And when I was really going through it mentally, I kind of skipped it. I skipped it out of necessity a lot of the time. But then once things started calming down with my schedule, I found myself kind of forgetting my hobbies, which sounds really dumb, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say it that way, but it's kind of the best way to describe it. I had to kind of come to Jesus moment a little bit in the spring of this year. I'm like, what do I like to do? And it's such a random thing. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just because I'm in my 20s and I'm trying to just discover myself or whatever. I have a pretty good idea of what I like. I was just so deeply entrenched into survival mode, I forgot my fucking hobbies. That was weird. That was weird. That was an experience that I was not used to. Um, and it really opened my eyes to how dark the hole can get, because if you are so focused on just surviving the day, you rarely can get that same joy sometimes from the stuff that brought you joy, whether it's a well, I mean, it's rarely material things, but it's, whether it's a food you like or it's usually hobbies though, the activities. I feel like it's just so easy to fall into survival mode where it's work on whatever it is you're dealing with, sleep, eat, repeat. And if there is any downtime, it's usually spent scrolling because it's the most convenient source of just, I need a break, I need to stop thinking. It's either that or it's a vice like weed, alcohol, or something else. Um, and it's a weird one. It's a weird one, but when I kind of found myself come to um, this realization, I was like, oh wait, no, I'm so back. I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. I love basketball. I love football. I love hanging out with the homies. I love movies, right? I love history. I love geography. I was like, oh wait, okay, we're so back. It was largely dictated by my YouTube watch recommended, honestly. Like that's when I kind of really caught myself. I'm like, oh, I'm so back. I'm back to watching video essays that are lore videos from a video game that I haven't watched or played in years. We're back to this is what I liked, you know. Um and so that was pretty eye opening. But the basketball league was so healthy when I was able to kick back into that because the first day I got back to it, I was like, oh my god, I have missed this. Because A, movement is medicine. Depression hates a moving target. B, having a group of guys where you can just go and you can just run and you're familiar, you play it, break a sweat. Like we talk a lot about on this channel and all my other channels how important daily movement is and lifting your weights and how to lift properly. But there are so many benefits to working out in a sense to where you are actually breaking a sweat. A lot of my lifts, I don't really break a sweat a lot of the time. Like I hit a chest day at Planet Fitness today. It was an hour in, hour out. Like I was not there long and I didn't really break a sweat. I was pushing high intensity, but it's cold outside. I didn't do any cardio afterwards. It was just not, I didn't break a literal sweat. But there's so much good and so much endorphin release and a higher intensity level of cardio. Obviously, cardio isn't the only thing to help you break a sweat. I mean, sauna can help you break a sweat, but it's really good for you. And I am going to dive more into the science of to why it feels so much better. Um, but because that is something I am genuinely fascinated about learning. And I guess that's the fifth thing. That's a good transition into the fifth thing, learning. I stopped playing to survive and I started playing to win again. I stopped playing to just get through the day and avoid all total collapse, which in hindsight wasn't really at risk, but my brain thought it was. Um, Self sabotage is a wonderful thing, but when I was able to get back to learning new skills. For specifically for me, I've been learning a lot about like handy stuff. I'm learning my way around, just a little bit more basic carpentry work. This is a really small thing, but like working on my cars, very, very, very like working on my cars with heavy air quotes here. I'm not getting under or anything. I'm actually planning on changing my oil soon. I'm going to learn how to do that. Shout out Tyler, my brother-in-law, for that, by the way. He's going to teach me. But just getting back to the mindset of a student and the mindset that I'm in a season of learning. I'm 24. I mean, age doesn't even matter, but I'm in a season of learning right now. I don't care if I'm a teacher to others. For me, I am still, for my life, I'm in a season of learning and accumulation. So that means I am trying to acquire skills, acquire assets, acquire things that are going to better my life, right? So I started listening to just random history topics again on podcasts and YouTube videos. I started understanding a little bit more about handiwork. I started learning more about guns, and learned a lot about that. I'm really happy about all of it. And it's just these smaller things. I'm getting better at writing. These are things where I actually got to see tangible improvement. So if you're in this darker spot, if you are in this place where you don't know how to pull yourself out of it, I would highly recommend pick one thing to go get better at. Something completely random. It does not have to be productive to what your problem is or how you feel about it, but you are going to feel a sense of pride if you can just say, I don't necessarily want to do this right now, nor do I feel like I have the time, but just blocking off a few hours a week to learning a new skill, seeing and feeling that tangible progression is so good for you, especially if you're a guy. It's good for you if you're anyone. But getting a win like that, getting a win under your belt is when you are so used to not having wins in that season of life, it's actually ridiculous. It's probably the single greatest thing. And that's something I told a lot of my clients these past couple of weeks. It's like, are you playing? Like it's November as I record this. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving. It's November 25th. And I was telling my guys and my clients in general, I was like, are you just playing to not lose right now because it's fall and it's winter and it's the holidays? Or are you going to continuously play to fucking win? Because there's only one right answer here. Like, sure, you can have seasons of craziness, right? I got a lot of clients going through some real life shit right now. That doesn't stop them. You're still playing to win. Don't get it twisted, right? A lot of people will try to put themselves into survival mode when the first slightest convenience or inconvenience, comes up. It's like, no, that just means your plan isn't right, or your mindset around this is completely backwards. That's another thing too. But yeah, I would say downloading Opal, doing preventative exercise like tibialis raises, slowing down my mornings, having a sports league that I was a part of that I could play sports in, and learning consistently, learning new skills. Those were probably the 5 biggest key things that helped me pull myself out of a rut mentally. And it's a lot of recommendations of these I've made to friends, I've made to clients, and it's helped me tremendously. Also, just talking to my friends, man, talking to my family. Um, I heard something. I'm gonna butcher this. Depth of connection equals vulnerability over time. Depth of connection equals vulnerability over time. And I realize that I see that now in retrospect, in hindsight, because my closest friends, I feel completely comfortable being vulnerable with them, and they right back to me as well. And adding time to that equation, like I've got brothers, right? I've got a lot of friends. I'm very blessed. I love this community. I love my friends in person. I just got to see a bunch of my friends because it's, the holidays, so everyone's back in town. But being able to just like go for a walk with people and all right, I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story. When it was first, when all the stuff, and I'm not gonna give you guys details, not because I don't trust you or not because I don't want to share what's going on, but it's just out of it's out of respect for some other people in my life. that I do not want to share their personal baggage. So I'm not going to give you guys the specific details. It's not me trying to hide anything. But somebody very close to me was going through some very, 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 very dark times, and it was infecting me, and it really flipped my life upside down for a multitude of reasons. I My first free weekend, my friend Malachi knew and could tell I was going through some stuff. I didn't really give him the full picture. But then he came over. He didn't really ask. He just said, "Hey, I'm what are you doing on Friday? I'm coming over." Um, and we got some snacks and we watched The Three Body Problem on Netflix. And good show, good enough show, right? It was fun to watch, but like I wish that everyone in their life could have a friend like that. He knew that I was going through it, and everyone kind of approaches helping somebody out through a hard time in a different way. My response is usually pretty direct, where I was like, "What can I do to help?" Uh, but for a lot of the time, you have to take it with baby steps. For me, I'm always trying to solve the big picture problem right away, then and there. And something that I learned as being the recipient of the help this year, or last year, I suppose, was when this was going on. Sometimes you just need a distraction. Sometimes you just need, somebody there to kind of remind you that, you know, there are still normal parts of life, and you still got people that love you and care about you. And um, we talked about things a little bit when he was over because we did it 3 weekends in a row. He kept coming over, and that meant a lot to me. Um, and I could mention a handful of friends, quite a few of my guys that have really helped me out, my family members as well. But that story just sticks out to me because if you are going through something like that, human connection and sharing vulnerability is absolutely the number one antidote. You are going to feel a breath of fresh air. You are going to feel a weight lifted off of your shoulders, both literally. Uh, I honestly felt lighter physically afterwards. Like it gave me a bit of a reset, even though I didn't really talk about it too much in detail. Um, and if I had to add a sixth thing, it's just finding someone to lean on. And if you don't have that, I understand. I've also gone through periods in my life where I had no friends. If that's where you feel like you're at, online friends fucking count, dude. I don't care if people don't think they do, but they fucking do, right? I've got some homies in Nebraska. I've got some homies in Chicago. I've got some homies across the world, like through online relationships, Malta, Australia, every part of Canada, Mexico, like the UK, all over the UK. I'm I mean, obviously, I'm pretty online for my job, but if you have a gaming buddy, if you have a guy you used to work with that you used to be really close to, if you got a friend of a friend, like there is nothing stopping you from rekindling that connection. And you don't gotta just like say, "Hey, I need someone to talk to," and then dump on them. Obviously, that's not what you're gonna want to do. You're never gonna feel comfortable doing that in a million years. But if it's someone that's just gonna talk to you and that you might be able to go catch up and have coffee with one day, literally, why not? Reaching out to people, old friends, even if you don't consider them close friends, but you're lonely, there's nothing stopping you from reaching out and talking to a handful of people. The worst they could say is no. It's just like asking out a girl. My dad always used to say, as I had horrible confidence as a kid when it came to girls. Fun fact, Ashley's my only girlfriend ever. Um, so if she leaves me, I'm fucked. But with girls, my dad used to say, right now you have a no. As I would be scared to like ask the girl to the dance or something, right? He's like, right now you have a no. You go up there, you ask her. You either can continue to have what you want, which is a no, or maybe you get a yes. Uh, I mostly got no's, but I got a couple yeses. I got a couple yeses. Um, So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to wrap this one up today, folks. 5 plus a bonus. Power of friendship. No, that's a big one. That's a big one, and I could talk about it a ton. But Opal tib raises, morning walks, slowing down your mornings, a physical, community-based competition, moving slower in the mornings, learning, and then the power of friendship. Nice. If you guys are new here and you're still listening, thank you so much. Thank you all so much to my Spotify listeners as well. You guys are consistently showing up on Spotify, and I really, really appreciate that. I should probably do a better job of promoting it on Spotify. So I'll probably start doing that here soon. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up in the month of January, so look out for that. If you are new here, like, subscribe, comment what you thought of this video, comment what you want to hear me talk about next. If you resonate with anything I said in here and what I struggled with, I'd be happy to hear more about it. And if you are interested in learning more or have a free, or you want, a little bit more of what I talk about here, check the link in the description. I've got a free 25-day email course. Go check it out. Peace and love to you. Keep it simple. Happy Thanksgiving. I will be eating more food than you on Thanksgiving. Please just remember that. Love you.